What's up, YouTube? PokePrimer here, primed and ready to deliver you our Week 3 team builder for the PFL Major League here on the channel. This week we are taking on Rampage and the Indiana Reapers. I believe that's the name, Indiana Reapers. Really good-looking team, but a lot of very common weaknesses that I definitely think I can capitalize off of. Yeah, we beat him last season in the majors with a team that really wasn't all that great. So hopefully with this team that I feel is a lot better, we can come out on top. So his team consists of Tyranitar, Bisharp, Chandelure, Haxorus, Sigilyph, Delphox, Mega Swampert, Togekiss, Toxicroak, Mismagius, and Mawile. So right off the bat, first of all, I had originally had a different team built for this, but he recently made a couple free agency swaps. Where he dropped Gengar for Tyranitar. He dropped... God, I can't even remember what the hell his other two mons were. I cannot remember for the life of me what his other two mons were. Oi, oi, oi. I can't remember what the two mons were. Not sure at all. Not sure at all. Blah blah. Blah 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 blah. I am just filling time now. I want to see. I need to see what's up with Rampage's old team. What did he have before? He had Gengar and dropped it for Titar. He had Houndoom and dropped it for Mismagius. And he had Electivire and dropped it for Delphox. So he dropped his fastest mon to grab two mons that are somewhat slower but kind of close to the same speed tier. And he dropped two mons that were a bit faster than some of the rest of his team. And he gained a little speed in those, but he lost a lot of speed from Gengar to Titar. So it doesn't really balance out, in my opinion. And honestly, I think his team is a lot better before, although he really didn't change much, because he dropped a Levitating Ghost type for Levitating Ghost type, essentially. He got rid of two ground weaknesses and got back two ground weaknesses, so he really didn't change the team much, but, you know, that's just me, my opinion on it. But, one big thing on his team is he has 6 mons out of his 11 that are weak to ground. 6 mons that are weak to ground. The ones that aren't weak to ground are weak to ice, for the most part. Except for 2 of them. That's it. 2 of them are weak to different things. That's it. So his team is very easy to prep for, like, move coverage-wise, so that's cool. He also has 2 mons that are 4 times weak to fighting, instead of just the one that he originally had with Bisharp. He now has Bisharp and Titar, which are both 4 times weak to fighting, which I plan on taking advantage of, in some sense. He has 4 times weakness to Grass in Mega Swampert. He has a 4 times weakness to Psychic in Toxicroak. He has a decent Ghost and Dark weakness as well on top of that. He also has a decent Rock weakness. His team just has a bunch of common weaknesses throughout it that definitely easy to exploit and really easy to work with in prep. So without further ado, let's get into this. The first mod that I'm bringing to try and beat him is going to be Bangs, our Piloswine. Look at them sweet bangs coming down from the eyes right there. Look at them bangs. Bangs the Piloswine, rocking the Eviolite right here. I want to take all those hits. Max HP, max physical attack, adamant nature. We're running 4 into speed so we can speed creep the Mawile. I want to be able to outspeed the Mawile. I don't see him running speed on it, so that's cool. Stealth Rock, Earthquake, Icicle Crash, and Ice Shard. We get Stealth Rocks up, it's going to do a lot of damage to his team. He only has one form of hazard removal, being the Togekiss, and that doesn't want to come in against us because of the fact that we can hit it super effectively with Icicle Crash and then Ice Shard it, and then make it dead. So Togekiss doesn't want to come in against Piloswine to try and get rid of those rocks, so it's going to be really, really difficult for him to defog them away, because I have ways of pressuring the Togekiss with pretty much my entire team. Like, it's very, very difficult for him to defog against me with this squad, so I wish him best of luck in that endeavor, but I don't think it's going to happen. But, Earthquake pretty much blows back the majority of his team. Anything it doesn't blow back, Icicle Crash and Ice Shard combination will pretty much clean up. We can take just about any one hit from just about anything on his team as well, which is really nice. So this Piloswine is going to put in a lot of work. You're going to see throughout the course of this team build, we have a very decently offensive build this week, so you're going to really enjoy that. Hopefully, get more of an offensive build for our team this week, because I feel like an offensive approach is very good against this team. My team definitely has the bulky offense to break through his somewhat speedier offense. So we have Bangs here. Bangs here is going to put in the most work in this match. I really have to be smart and preserve Bangs, because Bangs is the mon that tears this team apart. Next up, we have Raiden, our Mega Manectric here. Raiden is rocking just enough speed to outspeed the Mismagius. We're running max special attack with a modest nature, 12 into defense, and the remainder is going into HP. We were running Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, HP Grass, and Thunder Wave. Thunder Wave is there because we didn't really need any other coverage moves, and Thunder Wave could be really useful against something like Mismagius, the Delphox, especially the Sigilyph. Sigilyph could be really, really nice to slow down. Haxorus would be really nice to slow down. Chandelure, Bisharp, T-Tar, a lot of those things would be really nice to have a paralysis on them so that they can't either A, outspeed, or B, they have the chance to not move in a turn, and I like the thought of that. HP Grass is there for the Mega Swampert. It's the only ground type on my opponent's team that could switch into Mega Manectric, so having the HP Grass is good. I actually was running HP Ground the last time I built this team because of the Electivire being such a good switch-in, but since he dropped Electivire, I don't have to worry about that anymore. So, HP Grass is definitely better in this situation than the Volt Switch Thunderbolt combo. Going to do a lot of damage to Rampage's team. I can't touch the Haxorus, but I can Volt Switch out again. I can Thunder Wave it. I can Volt Switch out against it really easily, no problem. The Volt Switch and Thunderbolt are going to really hurt the Sigilyph, really hurt the Togekiss, and give me good momentum throughout the matchup. So there's that. Next up, we have Sailor Moon, the Cresselia, rocking the Culver Berry. We're rocking 192 HP, 252 special attack, 4 special defense, and 60 speed with a Timid Nature. Now, this is an interesting set. We're running Sub-Calm Mind Cresselia with no Psychic Stab. Why no Psychic Stab? Because there are 2 Dark types on my opponent's team, and there's 2 Dark types. On top of the 2 Dark types, there are also 2 Psychic types. Psychic type Stab does not help me at all. So, for this matchup, the best possible option I had was running the dual coverage of Shadow Ball and HP Fighting to hit the entire team. HP Fighting allows me to smack the Bisharp and the T-Tar really, really hard, and it hits the majority of the team neutrally, and then the Shadow Ball hits everything neutrally, and does a decent amount of damage after a Calm Mind or 2. The Culver Berry is there for the Bisharp and the T-Tar. If I can get set up, if I get behind a sub and I can get set up a little bit, Culver Berry will actually allow stay with me behind the sub. It doesn't pop the berry if you attack the sub. I'm 95% positive you don't pop the berry attacking the sub. I had to look that up, but I'm pretty sure the berry does not pop when you attack the sub. So my sub could be popped by them, and then they can go ahead and attack me as I have another Calm Mind up, and then I can easily take them out with the HP fighting, and proceed to continue sweeping the team. The speed investment that I have is so that I can outspeed a a max speed Adamant Bisharp and a max speed Adamant Mega Swampert. So that's that speed investment. I needed the HP stat just so that I can, properly live a hit from the Bisharp and Tyranitar and stuff, and I could properly eat hits. So I needed to keep the HP decently high. Although, I think I'm actually going to bump it down 2 slots. We're going to go 217 HP, and we're going to bump our speed up to 125, because now we outspeed a max speed Jolly Tyranitar, and that is nice. So that's what we got here with our Cresselia. Next up, we have Chimpact, our Infernape, rocking the Life Orb Iron Fist this week. Max attack, 20 special attack, and max 236 speed, allowing us to outspeed the Mismagius by 1 point. We're running Earthquake because the ground weakness is massive. We're running Mach Punch because there's a Tyranitar and a Bisharp. Is that enough said? I think so. We are rocking a Grass Knot because there's a Mega Swampert. That makes the most sense to me. Mega Swampert can't switch into an attack and then take a Grass Knot. And then we have the Flare Blitz because I like breaking things. And Flare Blitz breaks things. Outside of Flash Fire Chandelure, even if it resists it, it doesn't appreciate it. Taking the Flare Blitz. So, Flare Blitz is a good move to click against Rampage's team. That's one thing as well that I like about this matchup, is because Rampage doesn't have those momentum-grabbing moves like U-Turn and Volt Switch, so he has to hard switch. So I can can predict a lot more in this matchup. Well, he has to predict a lot more in this matchup than a lot of cases, because if he predicts my switch perfectly and does a double switch or whatever, then he's good. But if he doesn't predict it right and I get the switch off, and then I get my double off as he switches into something else to handle it, he's going to have a hard time trying to play against that, because that's why moves like U-Turn and Volt Switch are so good. They help to allow you to capitalize off of what your opponents do, not so much your opponents capitalizing off of you. And I feel like I can capitalize a lot off the fact that he doesn't have Volt Switch or U-Turn on his team at all. But that's just one thing I noticed. But this set can really tear through his team, so Chimpact's going to put in some work. Next up, we have Mavis, our Aromatisse, coming in this season finally, rocking the Leftovers. Fully physically defensive Aromatisse with a relaxed nature, because I'm not going to invest in any speed. This thing's slow as balls. And this set's kind of, I wouldn't say heat, but it's kind of heat. This set is designed, it can live any one hit from a Bisharp, it can live any one hit from a T-Tar. And we have Drain Punch, because it'd be cool. But now, if we can get a Wish off on a switch, we can go for the Drain Punch as the Bisharp comes in, or as the T-Tar comes in. We can go for the Drain Punch on it, get a really, really, really decent chunk of damage. Like, actually 2 KOs, I'm pretty sure both of them. Even though this thing's physical attack is kind of booty, it still does a decent chunk of damage because it's 4 times effective. And we can get a decent chunk of HP back as well from the Drain Punch, as well as the Wish that would come down on us. That's the plan. This thing can Wish Pass for us. This is our way of keeping Piloswine alive. If I see situations where I can get the Wish off and then get Piloswine in safely, I will do that so I can keep Piloswine alive. So that's cool. Moonblast is there, obviously, because it's stab, and things like T-Tar and Haxorus don't appreciate it. This is one of our ways of beating Haxorus as well. And we also have the aromatherapy because I don't want things on my team status. I don't want will-o-wisps flying around. I don't want thunder waves flying around. I don't want any of that happening to my team. So we're not going to allow it. We are going to run that aromatherapy, and we are going to clean those ugly status off our team. So with that being said, that's our Aromatisse set for this week. I really just can't wait to Drain Punch something with an Aromatisse. I think that's going to be the funniest thing in the universe. The last one we were going to bring this week is our Weasley the Drotagon, rocking the Assault Vest Sheer Force. Boy. We're rocking 244 HP, 244 in attack with an Adamant Nature, and 20 in speed. Now, the 20 in speed, again, is to allow us to outspeed the Mawile. We rock an Earthquake, Gunk Shot, Sucker Punch, and Power Up Punch. Now, Power Up Punch is really interesting because Power Up Punch is going to do a large chunk of damage to the Bisharp. I'm actually going to pull up, you're going to see this right now, Nugget Bridge. I'm pulling up Nugget Bridge because I actually want y'all to see the kind of damage this is going to do. Because this could actually potentially lead to a sweep if I get the right situation. So we got Drotagon and we got, let's say, Bisharp. Okay, Bisharp's here. Because I know he's going to bring Bisharp because it's one of his favorite Pokemon. So I don't see any situation where he doesn't bring it. So I'm going to say Assault Vest, Sheer Force, and we're going to give you Power Up Punch. Power Up Punch from a 244 attack, Sheer Force Drotagon is going to do 87.9 to 104% to a Bisharp. So basically, if it takes rocks damage, it dies. Do we bring rocks? We did not bring. We did bring rocks. If it takes rocks damage, it's probably gonna die. It's not gonna appreciate it. It's gonna take a large hit, and then we can pretty much take it out. That's why we also have the Sucker Punch on the Drotagon, so that we can actually capitalize off of that +1 attack we could potentially get off the Bisharp. So yeah, Tyranitar as well. We can take a look at that. Regular Tyranitar takes 65 to 79% if it's offensive. It's bulkier, it's going to take a lot less, but still, it's 4 times effective. It's going to do a large chunk of damage and get us to +1. And Tyranitar can't 2-hit KO us, so that's really cool. So, yeah. Really interesting Drotagon set. Really excited to use it. I think Drotagon can put in a lot of work this week. That Gunk Shot is going to be really effective against the Togekiss, who most likely is going to want to come in against us. And having the Assault Vest is going to be really nice because the Togekiss can't really touch us. And Gunk Shot can go off and blow the Togekiss away. Earthquake is going to tear through... once I get +1 even, like Earthquake will just tear through Rampage's team. Literally, Drotagon can go on a Rampage, which would be really cool. Sucker Punch is for things like the Sigilift that wants to try to set up maybe, or things like the Chandelure who might want to try to hit me really hard, stuff like that. And just to have priority to smack things with before I die maybe. Drotagon can put in a lot of work doing stuff like that. Overall, this set has a lot of potential this week to do a lot of work, and I'm really excited. But yeah, that's going to be it for this team builder. You guys will see the battle as soon as I possibly can. And yeah, that's going to be all for now, guys. If you enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like down below and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, I'm PokePrimer. What's up, YouTube? PokePrimer here, proud and ready to deliver you our week number 3 battle in the PFL Major Leagues. We are currently sitting at 2-0 with a +6 differential after 2 weeks of play where, honestly, hacks were just rampant in my matches, which is really unfortunate. It makes me sad. I hate matches that I win by hacks. So I'm really praying for a hacks-free match this week against Rampage and the Indiana Reapers. You know from our team builder, we're bringing Bangs the Piloswine, Raiden the Mega Manectric, Sailor Moon the Cresselia, Chimpact the Infernape, Mavis the Aromatisse, and Weasley the Drotagon, as our opponent decided to bring the Bisharp the Togekiss, the Toxicroak, the Chandelure, the Haxorus, and the Mega Swampert. So I'm kind of interested to see what he does with the Mega Swampert without Rain Sport on his team. He has no Volt Turn at all. He has 0 Volt Turn, so he's going to have to make predictions on his switches in order to get around us better. So I think that comes to our advantage, because if we can make the right predictions, because he's going to have a hard switch anytime he's pressured. So if we can make the right predictions, we can really, really tear through his team. For sure, it's gonna do a lot of damage to his team, especially since we do have Volt Turn, so we can actually really, really use that to our advantage. But yeah, without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into this. I decide, looking at his team, my best possible lead is going to be my Mega Manectric. I have no reason not to lead it. I have my Manectric EV'd so that I can outspeed base 80s right off the bat, so I can outspeed pretty much everything on his. I can outspeed about half his team. I can outspeed the Togekiss. If he leads it, I outspeed the Bisharp. If he leads it, I outspeed the Swampert. I outspeed the Chandelure. I outspeed everything that's not Haxorus and Toxicroak. And honestly, Toxicroak, especially after Intimidate, and both of them after Intimidate, really don't want to face me. So I'm going to go ahead and lead with my Manectric right off the bat. We're going to switch sides so that we're on our side. He's actually going to lead with Kindle his Chandelure and reveal early on that this thing is light or air balloon. So right off the bat, I want to go ahead and click that Volt Switch button, and I want to pop that air balloon because I know, I could potentially come in handy later for him. And I'm going to go ahead and Volt Switch out into Weasley, our Druddigon, and he's going to go for the Shadow Ball and get some damage. Now, I predict this switch, okay? I know that he knows that Druddigon love to carry Sucker Punch. Druddigon are huge Sucker Punch users all through RU, right? Which I am carrying Sucker Punch on this set, by the way. Sucker Punch, Power Punch, Gunk Shot, and Earthquake. With Sheer Force and Assault Vest. So, Assault Vested right here, it's going to be really, really deadly. I think he's going to switch into his Togekiss, because predicting that it would give him a free switch into it, which would allow him to pressure my Druddigon with the potential of a Fairy-type move and whatnot. So I actually clicked the Gunk Shot button. He's going to switch. In comes the Togekiss. Off goes the Gunk Shot, and Togekiss just disappears. Sheer Force Gunk Shot from Adamant. Druddigon absolutely blows it back. So in comes the Mega Swampert. Now, I decided at this point, I want to see how much this does based upon this set. He is offensive. Definitely, at least Jolly. Probably Adamant. So I do go into Mega Manectric quickly, and I go ahead and I go into Mega Manectric because I want the Intimidate on this thing. He's actually going to then go for the Power Up Punch, which is really, really interesting play, because I could have been packing the HP Grass, which I am. If I had gone for the HP Grass there, that would have been huge. That would have been absolutely huge. But I didn't want to take the Earthquake because I felt that Mega Manectric could be really useful later on in the match. So I do decide to just switch out and go into the Sailor Moon here, just because, Earthquake won't touch us. He goes with Power Punch, which is interesting, so he gets himself back up to neutral attack. I'm going to switch into my Aromatisse. He switches into his Bisharp. Now this is really interesting because, if you saw their team builder, Aromatisse is built specifically in a way that we can beat a Bisharp 1v1, or at least cripple it. If it is a Life Orb Bisharp, we still live one Life Orb. We can live one Life Orb Adamant Iron Head, and Drain Punch will do like 63 to 71%. We are packing the Drain Punch on this Aromatisse. If he's not Life Orb, not only do we live an Iron Head, but after a Drain Punch, we live a second Iron Head. So we are so I immediately click the Drain Punch button. He actually goes for the Psycho Cut, and that surprises me. Maybe he was thinking that I'd be pressured out by this and go into my Infernape. Maybe. I'm not 100% sure why he would go for the Psycho Cut there. That play doesn't make much sense. I mean, if I did go into the Infernape, that would have probably bodied it. So whatever. We do see he's not Life Orb. I go for the Drain Punch, and look at that damage. 71% gone immediately. That is gorgeous. That is amazing. Bisharp just got absolutely melted by that Drain Punch from Aromatisse. That's huge. And we're back up to full. He's actually going to Psycho Cut again. I don't understand that at all. He could have at least Iron Hit and got some huge damage off. But I'm just going to go for the Moonblast. It's the safest play, and it's going to take out the Bisharp. So Aromatisse 1v1's a Bisharp who wins. In comes the Toxicroak. At this point, if it's a physical set, I know I can live a hit, but I don't do much back. Drain Punch doesn't touch this thing, and Moonblast doesn't do nearly enough. Moonblast barely does like 25% to a physically offensive Toxicroak. So I decided at this point that my best possible switch-in is definitely my Piloswine. So I'm actually going to go into Bangs here, and he's going to go for a Sledge Bomb, revealing he is a special set, which I hate special Toxicroak. It's garbage, but that's just my opinion. I'm going to go for the Earthquake, trying to kill off the Toxicroak. He's actually just going to sack his Chandelure and go into the Mega Swampert here. Now, I know he's not going to go for an Earthquake. I go into Mega Manectric, get the Intimidate on this thing. He goes to the Aqua Tail. This right here, that right here reveals 100% that he is adamant, because Aqua Tail at -1 does 46 to 54%, so he lands an actual 50% right in the middle. So that is huge information to find out. Definitely massively important information that he's definitely adamant. So I can calc appropriately from here on out against the Mega Swampert. Although I'm not necessarily super worried about it, but you know we're gonna try our best to beat it here. So seeing that damage, I can't afford to stand. I know if he's actually max HP, if he's a max HP Swampert on top of the adamant attack, we definitely cannot KO him with the HP Grass. So I do decide to swap here. I do go ahead and I swap into... No, I did go for HP. Why did I go for HP Grass there? I figured I looked at his team, I think, and realized that Mega Manectric didn't do anything for me at this point. I mean, just Toxicroak, Swampert, and Haxorus left. I realized that it just didn't do anything for me, so I did decide to just go ahead and swap a Rooney. Or go for the HP Grass, try to kill it, or get some massive damage on it so I can revenge it. In comes the Haxorus, though, and takes the hit. So it's an interesting situation because I think this thing can probably just set up and, like, fuck me up. But I'm actually going to go for the Volt Switch. Go for the Volt Switch, and due to that damage is huge. That damage actually puts it in range for Piloswine's Ice Shard, which is awesome. So I actually am going to Volt Switch and go into the Piloswine here, as he is going to go for the Dragon Dance. But I do have this Ice Shard loaded up. I do click the Ice Shard button. He is going to go into his Swampert, take the Ice Shard like a boss. Now, at this point, I decide that Aromatisse does nothing for me, because, honestly, Haxorus could carry Poison Jab. It's very, very common, and he'd be stupid if he didn't, because I do have a Fairy on my team. So if he didn't carry coverage for the Fairy type, then Aromatisse walls his Haxorus entirely, and that would be actually stupid. So I do swap into my Aromatisse, allowing the damage to be taken, which is perfectly fine. I'm not upset that Aromatisse is going down. Aromatisse did its job in this match. So Aromatisse is going to take those 2 Earthquakes and go down. I did actually click the Wish there to try and maybe pass a Wish into something else. But I do go into Chimpact. Chimpact is going to fire off at Grass Knot here and completely blow away the Mega Swampert. In comes Toxicroak. I figure this thing has to be Dry Skin, so I am going to go for the Flare Blitz. It's going to bring it down to its Sash, and all the moves he clicks for, he clicks the Shadow Ball. He could have clicked a Poison move or a Fighting move, but I am going to go... He does live on 1, so I do just go for the Mach Punch. I'm able to take him out, and then Chimpact dies to his own life orb, which is perfectly fine by me, because that allows me to get a free switch into Bangs. So at this point, it's Bangs, V, Haxorus, and all I do is click the Ice Shard button, and Piloswine kills off the Haxorus. So that is awesome. That was a fantastic match. No hacks. No hacks at all. That's the part that I love the most. No hacks whatsoever in this match. Literally 100% hacks free. There's no hacks. No one can say there were hacks because there's literally no hacks. So just want to make that clarified. There was no hacks in this match. We 100% played this match as well as we could have. We played around everything that he tried to do to us. The gunk shot prediction was huge because that cleared a massive threat off his team because Paraflinch and Togekiss is a bitch to face. So killing that thing really early on was huge. And then Piloswine pretty much just, like,
Piloswine really put a lot of pressure on his team, especially as soon as the Mega Swampert dropped. Piloswine just became immediate win con because Piloswine was my win con from the start because Piloswine just wrecks his whole team, but essentially I couldn't consider it a win con because Mega Swampert could pretty much switch into Piloswine every time. So until Mega Swampert died, Piloswine just kind of had to chill in the back and hang out. But once Mega Swampert started getting weakened and Piloswine got more chances, he could just fire off moves and kill things, and it's really, really huge. So Piloswine actually put in a lot of work this match, picked up 2 kills, so it's really, really awesome, and I'm really happy about that. You know, my slow, bulky EV-Light user in the back of my team that nobody thought would do anything is here, you know, putting in the finest work in this match. So shoutouts to you, Piloswine, putting in nothing but the finest. Way to go, buddy. Way to go, Piloswine. I'm so proud of you. You were the old franchise, and now we've moved on to the Pittsburgh Popplios. And now the Pittsburgh Popplios are 3-0 with a plus 3-0 with a plus 9 differential, which is awesome. So that's great. Next week, however, we are going to face off against the runner-up from last season, the broken season, and the guy who runs the league, Scott, and the what is his team? What is his team name? Hold on, I actually have the document up. His team name is the Thriller Bark Trevenants. So a hell of a match it's going to be. His team is really, really decent, really, really good. So it's going to be really tough to prep for. But I think that for sure that I can pull out the win if I really, really prep. I mean, come on. I mean, who thinks of Drain Punch Remedies, to be honest? I mean, that was kind of godlike. I just want to put it out there. It's kind of godlike. I just want to say. I mean, I don't want to pat myself on the back. That was kind of good. So, but regardless of that, good game to Rampage. We're going to move on to next week, and hopefully we can keep our undefeated streak going. I'm really, really pumped. Like, this season's going really, really well so far. So, yeah. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get out of here. If you guys have enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like down below and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, guys, I am PokePrimer, signing off.